Hello, welcome to our podcast. My name is Larry Davis. I'm the owner and operator of the Jam Spot Music, thejsm.com. Now, today we're talking about basic guitar lessons. Once again, this is actually part 3 of a series of basic guitar lessons that I'm doing as a podcast for YouTube and for also the JSM.com learning forum. Now, what we're going to talk about today is we've already covered tuning, we've covered the basic posture of playing guitar. Now we're going to step into actually the fun section of learning basic open chords. Now, you've probably read or you've talked to people and they call, oh yeah, that's open chords or that's bar chords. So now you have two different kinds of chords. Like, well, what? What's bar chords? What's open chords? We are only going to cover just the few basic open chords that you need to learn, that you need to have under your belt. Don't worry about any bar chords for now. Leave the bar chords for a few weeks down the road. Work these open tunings or these open chords. Now, the reason why they're called open chords is because we actually have open strings involved with this chord. In other words, a bar chord actually has all the strings closed. There's not an open string in that chord. Open chords are open strings and fretted strings. So this is what we're going to talk about first, which I think is a very easy chord to work, but it's important to know, is the E minor chord. Okay, now E minor is probably the easiest chord on the neck. It truly is. What we're going to do is we're going to go from E to A string, which is the second string from the top. Second string down. All right? And you're on the second fret. Now this is fret 1, this is fret 2, this is fret 3, and so forth up the neck. This is going to be on the second string on the second fret. Right here. Put your finger right there. Okay? Now your next finger, your middle finger, should be on the third string, second fret, okay? That's an E minor. There's 2 strings. Play all 6 strings. It's a real dark chord. It's pretty it's pretty well used in a lot of metal and rock and roll songs, but it's also one of the easiest chords to learn. That's why I'm actually starting it here. Most people say, why would you learn E minor first? There's not really any musical reason I'm teaching you E minor, except for the fact that it's extremely easy to do. Plus, you play all 6 strings. Now, E minor, that's good, that's done. Now let's move on to D, the D chord. The D chord is 3 fingers involved and 4 strings strummed. In other words, we are only going to strum the 4 bottom strings right here. We're not going to worry about the other 2 top strings. We're only going to do the 4 bottom strings. Now, what you do is you use your middle finger first. Middle finger first, second fret, bottom string. Okay? You're on the high E, second fret with your middle finger. Now, with your index finger, go up to the third string from the bottom, second fret. So, right there. Now, your ring finger, it's kind of feeling awkward now, I'm sure. Put it on the second string, third fret, which is right there. Now, what I remember when I first started learning to play guitar, is I would always put my chords into shapes. And this actual chord is shaped like a triangle, from this point to this point to this point. So it's a triangle. That helped me remember the chord. Now, this is only 3 strings and you play 4. So we actually strum the 4 bottom strings. That's the D chord. The D chord is used in every genre, every style. It's a very important chord to learn. The next chord that you really need to learn is the C chord. The C chord can be played a few ways, and so can the D, and all of them pretty much can. I'm going to teach you the open method of the C. 3 finger. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take our index finger. We're going to go from the second string from the bottom. So, right here, we're actually on the B string right now, the B string. First fret. Okay? Now, the actual middle finger is going to skip 2 strings. It's going to be on the D string, second fret, right here. Now your ring finger feels like it's stretching right now. I know you're new at this and it feels like it's stretching, but your ring finger is going on your A string, which is second from the top, 3rd fret. That is C. Now your thumb, this is a trick that I do. I mute the E string with my thumb. You don't have to worry about that now, but that's something you might want to do in the future, because you only play 5 strings of this chord. So you leave the E, the low E, you do not play. You play the A down to the high E. So it's a 5-string chord. That's C. You'll see C a lot. Okay, so the next chord, and we're going to only do these 4 chords right here that I'm going to teach you, is G. G is one of the more challenging chords when you're first starting out, but it's also one of the most important chords. When you get G down, your hands really realize what they are doing. I don't know why. G is just one of them awkward chords that really opens up the ability to play chords. So I'm going to teach you rock G, which is actually 4 fingers used. 4 fingers on 4 strings, and you play all 6. Okay, so on the high E, with your pinky on the 3rd fret, press that string. Now on the 2nd string, B string, on the 3rd fret, right above your pinky, you're going to place your ring finger down, fret. Okay, now your index finger on the A string, 2nd fret. You're going to fret there, and your middle finger is kind of flopping around there. It's going to go on the E string, the low E string, on the 3rd fret, right there. So you kind of have a knotted up looking mess right there. That is the G chord. Now the trick is to play the G chord without vibrating. If you get any sort of buzzing, like you get some of that going on, you're not doing it right. Lift your fingers. You just want the fingertips, you don't want to lay your finger, you want to leave your fingertips pointing to the neck, the actual fretboard of the guitar. That is the G chord. Now, the G chord, like I said, it's really important to learn, but this is the rock G chord. There is an easier version, just 3 fingers. I don't want you to work that. I want you to work the 4-string version of G. That's it right there. Now, this is the ticket. This will take you 6 weeks to learn. Average student takes 6 weeks to be able to go from chord to chord without losing a beat. So don't get mad, don't get angry because you think you're stupid because you can't go from chord to chord instantly. Okay, it's really frustrating, but every student goes through this. So right now, just work G, work D, work C minor, and work E minor. Now that's a good warm-up right there. G, D, C, E minor. Okay, now, to give you a little tip before I conclude this video, think of pivot fingers. A pivot finger is a finger that does not have to lift off of the neck to change to the next chord. This is a really good trick to learning how to change chords fast. So we know that G here shares the same fret on the ring finger as the D chord. So in other words, the ring finger does not have to come off the neck when you go from G to D. So you go like this. G, leave the ring finger, lift all the fingers off and go straight to D. Now, C is just a slide of the index finger up and then plant. And then, actually, I told you that wrong, I'm sorry. C is actually not. Disregard that. Now, E minor, you can leave from C to E minor, you leave your middle finger and plant your index. Those are 4 good chords to learn warm-ups with. G to D to C to E minor. Back to G, D, C, E minor, back to G. That's why there is a method to my madness by teaching you E minor. That is a really good chord warm-up exercise before you start playing, before you start practicing. Go through them 4 chords, you know, for 4 or 5 bars. Just get some rhythm to it. Next lesson, I'm going to talk about pick technique and actually how to strum basic strums. I'm not going to get into any sort of serious strums, just the basic stuff. So stay in tune and definitely check us out on the next episode. Thank you.